Continuing with the 1980s, we're looking now at the election of 1984. Ronald Reagan will be nominated for a second term. The Democrats nominate Walter Mondale. There's a picture of Mondale. Mondale had served as vice president for Jimmy Carter during his term in office. Well, the Democrats do something. It's a special election in historical terms. The Democrats nominate Geraldine Ferraro for vice president, making her the first woman to run for vice president of a major political party. Doesn't end up helping in the long run. There's a picture of Ferraro because in the end, Reagan wins in a landslide. He wins 525 to 13 in the Electoral College and wins by just short of 17 million popular votes. There's the Electoral College, the map. The only state that Mondale manages to win is Minnesota, and that was his home state. Well, during Reagan's second term, things start to change with the Soviet Union. In 1985, Mikhail Gorbachev becomes the new Soviet premier. There's a picture of Gorbachev. Well, Gorbachev changes the policy of the Soviet Union to one of glasnost, which translated means openness. And so what you start to see is a new type of freedom in the Soviet Union, one they had never had before. As part of that, Gorbachev also starts following a new policy towards the U.S., and him and Reagan meet. They got along very well, and in 1987, they signed the INF Treaty, which is the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty. And what it did was it banned all medium-range nuclear weapons from Europe. Both sides had to take them out, right? Something the Europeans were very happy about. There's a picture of Gorbachev and Reagan signing the treaty. Then in a surprise move in 1988, Gorbachev announced that the Soviets were cutting the troop numbers in Eastern Europe. Soviet troops had been in Eastern Europe since the end of World War II. They had never left as they defeated the Germans on the Eastern Front. Of course, they had taken over those countries like Poland and Romania, and as well as others, and they had left troops there since. Well, in 1988, Soviets, they basically just could no longer afford this military, and so they started bringing the troops home. Part of the problem the Soviets ran into was actually bringing the troops home was the fact they didn't have the money to pay for it, and so some of the troops had to stay longer than planned because of a lack of money by the Soviet government. Same time, the Soviets, Gorbachev announced that the Soviets were withdrawing all of their troops from Afghanistan. The Soviet Union had invaded Afghanistan in 1979 to support the communist government there. And a little bit of irony, we supported the rebels against the communists and gave them weapons and everything. And just about 12 years after the Soviets left, we had to invade because of those same people harboring terrorists who attacked the United States. There are Soviet troops withdrawing. Terrorism was a big thing in the 80s. Terrorists would seize planes and hold them for ransom trying to get things from different countries. But President Reagan just in one speech said he would not negotiate with terrorists, and that's basically always been the U.S. position. Well, in April of 1986, an American serviceman was killed. He was stationed in Germany. He was in West Berlin when a bomb goes off, and he's the only one killed. Others were injured. U.S. intelligence says that it was a terrorist attack backed by Libya, and the leader of Libya at the time was a dictator named Muammar Gaddafi. And there's a picture of Gaddafi. Well, in response to this terrorist attack, President Reagan bombed the capital of Libya, which is the city of Tripoli. Right? The target was actually to try to kill Gaddafi. We did not. However, we did bomb his royal palace and the overall city and caused quite a bit of damage.